Hello and welcome to the UNIKL E-Debate Youth Cup 2021. Thank you to all the lecturers, students, and supporters for being here today. My name is Aman, and I will be your chairperson and timekeeper for this session. Today's session will be adjudicated by Akila, Atira, and Moonkids. We are going to start with the fourth and final round of the preliminary rounds by reading the motion. The motion for this debate is the House believes that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects such as engineering, computer science, in tertiary education, even at the expense of a decline in humanities courses such as literature, arts, philosophy. The members of the government side representing Unique Almaitech are Anissa as a Prime Minister, Shazin as a Deputy Prime Minister, Fanshu as a Government Whip. The reply speech from the Government Whip will be given by Shazlin. The members of the opposition side representing Unique Almiat are Aiman as Leader of Opposition, Ben as the Deputy Leader of Opposition, Arfan as the Opposition Whip. The reply speech from the opposition side will be given by Ben. Before we begin, I will briefly explain the rules. Each of the main speech is 7 minutes long. The first and last minute of each of this speech is known as protected time, which means that no points of information or POI may be asked by the opposing bench. The reply speech are 4 minutes long and are entirely protected from POIs. As a timekeeper, I will mark the opening and closing or protected time with a single bang or clap, once at 1 minute and a second time at 6 minutes. I will also indicate that a speaker's time is up with a double bang. If a speaker continues for a further 15 seconds, the indicator will start with a triple bang and thereafter continuously until the speaker stops. The indicator for the reply speech will start a single bang at 3 minutes, double bang on 4th minutes. If the speaker continues for a further 15 seconds, the indicator will start with a triple bang and thereafter continuously until the speaker stops. Could I also politely ask that a phones be switched off for the duration of each debate? If you wish to use your phone, please mute your mic and switch off your video to respect the ongoing section. Participants, will have a 10 minutes grace period if you are disconnected. Please continue your speech during that period. We will move on to the next speaker if you fail to reconnect after the grace period. So, without further ado, please join me in welcoming the first speaker of the debate, the Prime Minister, to the floor to open the debate. Please hold on. I will highlight you. Okay, Miss Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, I'll begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. Education is the passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those who prepare for it today. Assalamualaikum to the respected speakers, precise timekeepers, honorable adjudicators, members of the opposite team, and members of the floor. Before I put forward my case today, I would like to define today's motion. This House believes that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of a decline in humanities courses. We, from the government team, agree with the motion. Before that, the definition for STEM education is STEM is a curriculum based on the education of educating students in four specific disciplines: science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, in an interdisciplinary and applied approach. Rather than to teach the four disciplines as separate and discrete subjects, STEM integrates them into a cohesive learning paradigm based on real applications. While for the humanities courses, it entails the study of the human world and society from a critical perspective. These fields include popular majors like English, history, and philosophy. In these disciplines, students investigate humanity itself, applying its critical methods to help them understand literature, art, and the past, as well as human morality, culture, and values. Ladies and gentlemen, as the Prime Minister, I will be talking to you about why we agree about this motion, why we support it, and my Deputy Prime Minister will rebut from the opposition side and will state her own arguments. I will rebut and sum up our team case. Ladies and gentlemen, and members of this beautiful house. First of all, why we agree with the motion is because STEM education goes beyond school subjects. It gives a skill set that governs the way we think and behave. Merging science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM education help us to solve the challenges the world faces today. My first point is sustainable solutions to challenges. Why is this? By learning STEM subjects, students will focus on providing solutions to the concerns society has today. Human history has seen years of thoughtless exhaustion of natural resources. Such a lack of environmental education led to numerous challenges. These issues affect the health and well-being of all living organisms on our planet. Our environment needs protection. Thus, sustainability became one of the most urgent aspects that can study through STEM. Second point is STEM education gives students future skills that make them more employable and ready to meet the current labor demand. It encompasses the whole range of experiences and skills. Each STEM component brings a valuable contribution to a well-rounded education. For example, science gives learners an in-depth understanding of the world around us. It helps them to become better at research and critical thinking. Technology prepares young people to work in an environment full of high-tech innovations, while engineering allows students to enhance problem-solving skills and apply knowledge in new projects. Mathematics enables people to analyze information, eliminate errors, and make conclusive decisions when designing solutions. Hence, STEM education links this discipline into a cohesive system. Thus, it prepares professionals who can transform society with innovation and sustainable solutions. Ladies and gentlemen, the world we live in is changing, and we must keep pace with it. STEM education changes society by offering learners a new mindset and skills valued in any profession. They allow young people to be flexible, look for patterns, find connections, and evaluate informations. Besides, STEM education raises social awareness. It communicates global issues to the general public. Therefore, STEM opportunities move us to a knowledge-based economy and enhance sustainability literacy. STEM education as well exposes students to effective interdisciplinary communication. Scientists research and experiment offering the team discoveries. Technology experts provide gadgets that can make work of the team more effective. Engineers help to solve challenges by designing and running platforms that enable change, while mathematicians analyze information to eliminate mistakes and provide precise calculations. Our world is continuously changing. The only way we can be ready for it is challenging is through communication and collaboration. The STEM approach to education fosters creativity and divergence, thinking alongside fundamental disciplines. It motivates and inspires young people to generate new technologies. Before the technologies and ideas. With a focus on practice and innovation, students get to learn from inquiry-based assignments. STEM education gives an understanding of concept, encourages knowledge application to keep it short. In its aim can be formulated in two simple actions: explore and experience. Students are free to embrace mistakes in a risk-free environment. Project-based learning Project-based learning and problem solving help learners to form a special mindset. Its core is inflexibility and curiosity, which equips learners to respond to the real world challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, I have talked to you about the reasons why STEM education is important in today's society. Through these reasons, we propose it is clear that this house should develop nation should heavily incentive its students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of decline in humanities courses. With that, I raise my case. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech. Now, please welcome the first speaker of the opposition, the leader of opposition, to open the case for their side. Please, for a while, I will highlight you. Okay, and start whenever you are ready.
Okay, I'm going to start in 3, 2, 1. So, there is a quote by Jim Leach: "The arts and humanity are vastly more important in troubled times." What's the meaning of this quote? The quote implies that the art and the humanities are actually important too as a science, as to the science field in the troubled times. Okay, so before that, I would like to bid a good evening to the adjudicators, to the chairperson, to my fellow comrade, and to the government team. And good evening also I bid to the members of the floor. Okay, so yes, the Prime Minister of the government side has uh, defined what is STEM and what is humanity courses. But what she failed to define is there are a lot of things that she failed to define. First thing first, developing nations. So I will give the definition of developing nations. Developing nations are a nation with a less developed industrial base and low human development index, i.e., Malaysia, India, Indonesia, and Thailand. Okay, so next, I will talk about the definition of students. Students referring to people who are learning, and tertiary education uh, is education level beyond high school education. And the meaning of decline in this exact motion, which is this house belief that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of decline in humanity courses. What's the meaning of decline? The meaning of decline is less focus towards humanity courses. So, and the government team also failed to to define the status quo. Okay, the status quo of this motion, which is the students are free to choose whatever they feel they want, but the schools and their teachers are required to guide them about their field of choice. Okay, so um, we as the opposition team, we would like to oppose this motion, and we would like to come up with a new motion, which is this house does not believe that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students with to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of a decline in humanity courses. Okay, so we want to encourage the members of the floor and the educators about how important the humanity courses and why um, we should not shift the focus towards STEMs only in a developing nation. Okay, so uh, unfortunately, the prime minister also failed to include the mechanisms on how the government team would impose if the motion is accepted. So I, me and my team have decided that the mechanisms, if the motions are rejected, we are going um, to maintain the status quo of the current situation, which is students are free to choose their field of choice to take during the tertiary level of education. But high school teachers and their counselors are required to advise the students about their chosen field. So, uh, with the mechanisms has been presented, I would like to present my argument. So, in the case of the motions is accepted, the freedom of the student would be simply violated. Why? Because if the motion is accepted, okay, the motion of this house believe that developing nations should heavily incentivize the students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education. I uh, I want to focus on tertiary education, even at the expense of a decline in humanity courses. Why I say that? Because if the if the motion is accepted, the Ministry of Education will surely instruct their teachers to create a system or to persuade their students to pursue STEM field during their tertiary education. So, this is clearly a violation of Universal Declaration of Human Rights written by the United Nations, Article number 2, which states everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms set forth in this declaration without any distinction of any kind, such as race, color, sex, language, political, or other opinion, national or status or social origin. So this clearly, if the government supports this motion, they have overlooked this Article 2 of Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is agreed by the members of the United Nations. Okay, so the implication of this violation is huge. Okay, the art students who are forced to take the STEM education, STEM field in their tertiary education would be feel forced, and they are not willing to learn, and this will result in actually a drop in the STEM level, the downfall of the STEM. The STEM it is. There are studies that shows the lacking of exposures during high schools, which is implying to the art students would create a dwindle in the academic performance. So I think this is why the members of the floor should oppose this motion, which is this house believe that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of decline of humanity courses. Thank you. I end my speech.
I would like to thank the speaker for the speech and welcome the second speaker of the government, the Deputy Prime Minister, to continue the case for their side. Just wait, I will highlight you first. Gosh, where is the PM? Okay, yeah, that's right. Miss Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready. Speaker, Deputy Prime Minister.
Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you may start whenever you are ready.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay. Right. I will begin my speech in 3, 2, 1. The university level has become a very important pioneer
of educational change in conjunction with the increasingly challenging global changes as the industrial revolutions progress. Ladies and gentlemen, for today's motions, this House believes that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects in education, even at the expense of decline in humanity courses. As the affirmative team, we are strongly stand and agree to do so. But before I move on, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum in a very pleasantly a bit too wise panel of educators, accurate timekeepers, worthy opponent comrades, and last but not least, members of the House. Moving on, I will continue with three things today. I will make a clear understanding on what the opposition failed to see, which is I will rebut every wrong come from their side. And secondly, we move to my main point, which is my argument. And last but not least, I will summarize every point and again agreeing to the motion. So, ladies and gentlemen, firstly, I will rebut whatever they said. So, well, to be exact, actually, they fail to understand because we are trying to clear the drastic changes at the global level of courses require a smart and quick responses. Therefore, if you want to able to participate and play an important role that can benefit you and actually able to see the progress of the nations, then we strongly believe that due to the important role played by each field that makes up STEM education, then teaching in this field has become increasingly popular in recent times. The study's aim is to provide the most needed skills in the digital age to effectively develop the technical career of tomorrow. So, based on a practical and creative approach, there are actually many courses that can focus on this approach, designed with the idea of
POI.
training students. No, thank you. Designed with the idea of training students who can actually solve problems in various areas of applications in a modern life, from the global warming to the buildings and urban designs. So therefore, again, we are agreed to do so. So where we should have given incentive toward the student even if it takes over their humanity courses.
POI.
Now, no thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we are moving to my point today, which is my argument. I'll proceed with my further arguments, which I will explain the benefits of incentive its students to actually pursue STEM subjects in education, even at the expenses of decline in humanity courses, and how this is important. Right. Firstly, on your point of view, there's actually tons of advantage towards these issues, whereby STEMs in the primary school standards curriculum and the secondary school standards curriculums could actually exist the knowledge, skills, and actually have the values in all STEM subjects. So, STEM in the context of includes this aspect, which is the areas of studies and study package. So the student can actually focus STEM's teachings and learning. It can produce meaningful and enjoyable learning experiences. Therefore, we can see the increased students' interest in inclinations in STEM. Then, about the implementations of STEMs that integrates knowledge, the skills and values in subjects in depth through inquiry approaches, it also can have it also provides that project-based learnings and problem-based learning in real-world contexts. So, from here, the students who follow the STEMs have high-level thinkings and innovative, prudent, independent, technologically literate, able to create, and also solve problems, and make decisions. Before I continue, is there any POI?
POI.
Yes,
Are
proceed.
you saying that the humanity courses are not important in the current world? So, what about the art students who didn't continue their education due to decline in humanity courses? I thought the government was supposed to encourage their people to continue their education.
Hmm. Okay, let me continue. I'll put that on my speech. Thank you for the POI. Alright, I'll continue. Furthermore, ladies and gentlemen, before I even finish my speech, I will summarize this and then I will explain to you how the STEM is important. So, yes, I will answer you POI in my points here. Alright, from the first, we have already explained to you how the STEM is important and where we should provide incentive for the students, even if it takes the humanity courses. So, we believe that STEM's profile can be highly varied. An important thing is that they are able to adapt to new commercial contexts, which are characterized by essential need for technology integrations and mastery of new tools, like engineers, computer scientists, programmers, telecommunications experts, mathematicians, and like a lot. So, among the most of the STEM's profiles. But we haven't forget about the vocational training graduates in technologies are also can perform all kind of tasks. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, we are proudly to propose that intensify efforts to bridge the gap in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics achievement key. Thank you.
I would like to thank the speaker for the remarks and welcome the second speaker of the opposition, the deputy leader of opposition, to continue the debate for the opposition side. Wait a moment, I will highlight you first. Yes, Mr. Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready.
Philosophy is the mother of all science. This is a quote from Cicero, a Roman politician, which handles the political crisis during the Roman Empire. Now, before I start, I'd like to strongly oppose this motion, stating that the humanity courses should be ignored, but further reinforce the STEM subjects, which we strongly oppose. Before I proceed, good evening to the fellow adjudicators, the beautiful timekeeper, the fellow comrades, worthy opponents, and the members of the floor. Now, here's what I'm going to do today. I'm going to rebut what she said, and I'm going to present two of my own arguments. Now, what has been said by the second speaker was students can focus teaching and meaningful subject, and increases the students' interest in STEM. Now, are you denying the fact that these students also have the right to choose what they want to learn? Because sure, all you can do is increase awareness of it, but to heavily incentivize and to coax someone into taking what they don't actually want is purely inhumane. Now, I am going to proceed with my own argument, which is first, humanity courses shall not be put aside. What do I mean by this? Now, if the government were to provide or were to increase the awareness of students to pursue STEM, they shall not deny the rights of students to learn humanity courses, because once they heavily incentivize the STEM subjects, thus what happens to the humanity courses, right? It will get ignored. Once it gets ignored, it doesn't have much awareness anymore, and it would simply just disappear. Now, what would happen if this disappeared? Now, in a developing country, they need literature, philosophy, and art. Why do I say this? Now, literature, the meaning of literature itself is written words. Books, writers is a part of literature. Now, this means that in a developing country, not only they have to develop their technology, they have to develop their skill set and mindset, as well as their way of thinking. We can't have a first world country kind of technology with a third world mindset. How would the technology be fully utilized with a third world mindset? It would simply be taken advantage of, is number one. And number two, it would actually destroy the technology due to the fact that they are not well versed or they are not well known, and because of the decline of literature, philosophy, right? And philosophy, the definition is theory of attitude that acts as a guiding principle for behavior. Now, with a bad behavior, whatever you do, even even maybe your IQ would be as high as Albert Einstein. If your behavior is bad, everything will crumble because behavior is the foundation of everything, right? It's the foundation of a person itself. Childhood is built with behavior. They are not built with science. They're not built with engineering, with behavior. Now, if we were to decline these humanity courses, how would these children be well educated with good philosophy, right? And now I'd like to present my second argument, which is the heritage of a nation could disappear if focus is towards the STEM subjects. Now, what do I mean by this? What is heritage? Heritage is the historical materials, buildings, books, literature, right?
AI, please.
Yes.
Okay, you said that humanities courses teach the students of the philosophy of life, right? Okay, then who's gonna have the skills to advance more in technology if only focusing on the philosophy instead? Technology requires a very
More than one
skillful
minute. Sorry.
person. Can
Sorry, it's more
you
than
hear
one
that?
minute. Yeah. Heritage is the historical materials, right? So by that, heritage is predominantly in a form of art and philosophy. Now, how are we supposed to sustain the heritage itself if the education on humanity courses is declining, just so that we could further reinforce STEM subjects, which is highly unfair and biased, to be honest, right? And with the heavy incentives that is being brought to STEM subjects, the fundings would probably go and incline towards STEM subjects, right? Whereby will further decrease the funds for humanity courses. And what would happen when the fundings are gone? People won't know about the courses, right? Therefore, it's difficult to advance in the course, right? And day by day, no one is well versed in arts and literature, and all they think about is science, engineering, computer, and mathematics, which in itself doesn't develop a country, because the motion states that in a developing nation, right? So with this, I'd like to strongly oppose this motion that we should not heavily incentivize even at the expense of decline in humanity courses. And with that, I rest my case. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank the speaker for the remarks. Now, let's welcome the government whip to summarize the debate for the government side. Please welcome. But yes, I will highlight you first. Hopefully I do the right one. Okay, yes, that's the right one. Miss Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready. Speaker, are you there? Government wave?
Yeah, I'm here. Can I have a minute, please?
Sure, no problem. Take your time.
Okay, hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Alright, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Assalamualaikum and very good day to everyone. Thank you to the chairperson, the member of opposition, and my friend at the government side. Members of the floor, for today's debate, the motion is the House believes that developing nations should be heavily incentive its students to pursue a STEM subject. Before I move on to my job scope as a whip for the government side for today, I will explain to the members of the floor what we will do for today. First things first, I will rebut all the points that have been given by the opposition side. And secondly, I will stand with the government side and based on the point that have been given by my own teammates. Okay, first of all, I will rebut about the leader opposition and deputy leader opposition say. First thing first, leader opposition, I think we don't you don't need to oppose the new motion because I think we just focus on the motion that be given to us. The main motion is first of all when the leader opposition say that student face to choose what they want. I understand leader opposition want to say about the human right or student right, but we as a government we want you and the house to know that we want our students to have a better education, better future when they are going to work or something. We also want they to have a better future for a country. Also, our country is not a developing country yet. So by this kind of education that we are giving to them, so they will help us a government to have a better country, better developed country like Japan or Thailand, the same like Asian country that we have right now. Okay, to have a we want at the both aspect, which is a student and the government, have their own advantages. Okay, they get their own benefit by doing this. Okay, government have their own benefit and student have their own benefit by having this. And first of all, you say how can you assure when you say that the art student will be failed? How can you assure that? Did you know? Don't you think about that? How hard work they stay, and you simply say that they will fail if they take STEM and everything. Not most of the art students are intelligent person because of their passion toward art. That's why they're choosing art. But if we ask them to take this kind of subject, they can really study well. Hard work will pay off. And don't you think most of the art students will be successful person just because of the STEM? They will become a fail. Is it what you're trying to say to us, the leader opposition? They are not going to fail because they are not going to fail because they are hard work and everything will be paid off. So I think your mentality that if the art student take this STEM they will be failed, they are not. Their passion is on art, but they can study the STEM really, really well. As the leader opposition points it, I understand the leader opposition and leader opposition about the student right. Okay, they can just take the courses that they want, like the deputy leader opposition said that about the literature and history and so on and the art. They can take after their take, they can add the subject, but the focus thing, the main thing we want to focus about the STEM thing, about the science, technology, and mathematical and more, right? And you also say about the behavior is not For your information, yeah, behavior is not the most important thing. So human can change their behavior time by time. So this is not relatable at all when the leader opposition say about behavior. I repeat again, human behavior can improve and can be changed. This is not they have a bad behavior, they will be failed into this system. If they have a good behavior, they will get successful. No, in this kind of 2021, we need to think about others aspect, which is we need to think about the aspect of student that can be changed. We as a human, we can change ourselves in a better way, like what we want. And also, you guys also say that they don't know, they will fail, they will get this and all. First of all, my deputy prime minister already tell you guys about the benefit of taking STEM. So what we can take more is we should introduce them with this kind of STEM subject. We should let them know what this kind of subject, what is the benefit of that. And secondly, I will stand about what my prime minister said that STEM education is current student to settle to solve the problem. By taking STEM, they will learn about mathematical engineering and so on. They will learn how to solve the problem. If they are working, if they are in any kind of situation, they will know how to solve the problem. And also, by asking them to take the STEM subject, we can have a better future for the country. We can become a developed country one day. As right now, we didn't apply that one. We cannot be a developed country at all because they take this kind of course that will help us and help themselves to have a bright future. Okay?
POI.
So no, thank you. So this is the reason why STEM is really, 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 really important. This is help us as students to have a bright future. Okay, I repeat again, we want the students to have a bright future. They can just take whatever subject or whatever passion that they like, just add on after they finish or by just add on this thing. But now we are focused on taking STEM subject. As my Deputy Prime Minister said that my Deputy Prime Minister already explained about the benefit of the STEM. It's really clear. As a government, we want these things should be implemented. We want to have a better future. We to achieve the things that we didn't achieve yet. So that's the reason why as a government side, we want these things to should be implemented. By summarize all the points that have been given by the government, we want our students to have a bright future and education. We see this in a both of aspect. It will be based on government, student, and side. Both of it will be have a benefit. Last, before I end my speech, the most important things to remember in this debate, the motion, that we want to have to remember and think wisely. Student is future of our country. By developing, nation should incentive student to pursue STEM subject. This, the world of education can see that the art of moving to become a better country is because of the step of focusing engineering and so on. That thing, I'll rest my case. Thank you.
Thank you, Government Whip. Now, please welcome the opposition whip to sum up for the opposition team. Wait, I will highlight you first. Wait, why is that? Okay. So you may start whenever you are ready, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, wait a second. Okay, I'm gonna start my
Speaker,
yeah.
speaker. Your background noise is quite loud, so I advise you to speak louder. Okay,
Okay,
speak
okay,
louder. Just speak louder. Okay. Thank
okay.
you.
Sorry for the technical issues.
It's
So I'm gonna
okay.
start my speech in three, two, one. Let's go. Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good evening, I presume, to the lovely educators, wonderful judges, my fellow comrades, and the members of the floor. So, for today's motion is this House believe that developing nations should heavily incentivize its students to pursue STEM subjects such as engineering, science, computing, in tertiary educations, even at the expense of the decline on humanities courses. Okay, first of all, I would like to sum all of the points, all of the arguments that that the government team have been stated, and I will also rebut on some of the points that have been given by the opposition's team. Okay, so first of all, um, for the for the government, I'm sorry, for the opposition's team, and I will rebut on some of the points that have been given by the government team. And first of all, um, the first argument that have been given by the leader opposition is stated that the freedom of choice, which by means that the students have the freedom, have their own rights to choose what course or what um, field that they want to take. Because in this motion, it stated that it shows that it wants to encourage students to take STEM subject or STEM field or STEM course rather than and also decline the humanity courses or humanity field. Why does it needs to encourage students? Because why does it needs to encourage students rather than just supporting them or encourage them on doing whatever they are on whatever course or whatever field that they are pursuing right now. So like the leader position had just mentioned just now, the I'm so sorry about that. That the students also have their right to choose whether they want to take the STEM subject or the humanity subject, because and also the teachers in the school also have rights, like what why do you want to encourage students to take the STEM subjects? Because of like some of the students, they actually not interested in how do I say in that particular subject, particular course or field. They're more rather or they more interest in what are they pursuing right now, instead of like they want to be encouraged to do something that don't want they don't want to be they don't want to do, or they're not have that kind of interest in their self to be pursuing on that course, on that STEM's course. And I'm going to rebut on the prime minister for the prime minister that have been given the point, which is that uh, due to the importance of the STEM subjects, it has become popularity um, in I mean, like it has become the popular popularity towards for this kind of subject STEMs for the students to take, and it's also to pursue them to study to take the STEM studies, it has to decline, or even it has to reject the humanity educations, because the prime minister just stated that it's for the future skills for the sustainable solutions. Let me um ask you something. Like you're saying STEMs are making students of your nation more employable. What your proof of this? It's like there are a lot of proof that students who are taking humanity course and could be employed. It's not just it's not only the STEM course that could be employable in the future. Humanity courses, humanity field, um humanity like studies could also be employable in the future. Okay, for example, I am sure you guys watch Squid Games. Okay, it's the most popular drama, right? It's trending right now. So even myself watch it. That it was a very lovely drama. So in that drama, there's a lot of actors and production crew were taking some humanity course. Like, okay, I give you an example. If they're more focusing on what are they not capable of, if they're taking courses that they don't like it, how could they amplify in the future? How could they take that kind of? How could they, like, just like I stated? How could they amplify in their daily life if in the future if they're taking something that they don't exactly want it to? Okay, and for the second and the third argument by the deputy uh, leader opposition, which stated that humanity humanity causes or humanity field should not be put aside. Why is it? Because in our daily life, okay, humanity uh, humanity courses or humanity educations have been amplified in among us since since we as a kid. Okay, it's not just at um like how do I say it? Like to put uh like wrap things up is that my opposition team, we believe that the this house this house would not believe that the developing nation should heavily intensive its students to pursue STEM subjects in tertiary education, even at the expense of the decline in humanities courses. So that I would end my speech. Thank you.
Thank you, Opposition Whip, for your speeches. Now, I would like to thank all of the speakers for all their speech. Now, let's give the government and opposition sides 5 minutes to prepare for the reply speech. Please be aware that the reply speech will be for 4 minutes and no POI is allowed. Let us welcome the representative from the opposition side for the reply speech. Please hold on, I will highlight you. It will be banned. And the speaker, you may start your speech at any time.
Good evening. I wouldn't want to burn more time, and I would like to go straight into my reply speech. Now, I will convince, no, I will show the adjudicators that the opposition is at the side of winning, and I have a few proofs to show. Now, as what I can see from as what we can see from the Prime Minister is that the speaker said it would govern the way we think, and this shows that they want to dictate what the students want to learn, right? They don't allow them to have the freedom to take what they want, but instead dictate what they have to do so that it could govern the way they think, so that it could meet the current labor demand, so it could probably bring a good effect on the country itself, right? But then it's super counterintuitive in a sense that they can't do what they want, right? That's number one. And you are forcing them, the government is forcing them to do what they might not be able or they might not be capable to do in terms of, things that we can't change, like IQ or the speed of understanding, right? And she kept saying the benefits of STEM, but she didn't explore and explain on how it could help with the development, because the motion clearly states in a developing nation, right? As well as she also failed to give a thorough definition of the motion itself, which my leader of opposition had to give the remaining part of her task itself. Now, that's on the prime minister's part, and for the deputy prime minister's part, she kept rejecting the POIs that's been given, and once she accepted the POI, she couldn't even answer it properly. We did not recognize any answer for our point of information. She just continued with her own speech. Now, this probably shows that the part of government is not competent enough, right? And I don't want my future as a civilian to be determined by an incompetent government who couldn't even execute a simple task, right? Just to further understand and reply to our point of information, right? 4 out of 5 of the point of information is rejected. This shows that they are also not so well prepared, right? And last but not least, the government whip. Now, he clearly did not listen properly to what my leader of opposition had said. My leader of opposition had said that art students are prone to fail while taking STEM due to lack of early exposure. Lack of early exposure. We're not assuming that they're going to fail just because they're from arts. We're not assuming that. We are saying that it's because of the lack of early exposure. And the speaker kept saying, we want, we want, we want. Why would you control what the children, what the teenagers, what the students want? Right? As a government, I don't think that is possible, which shows that we have clearly won this motion for today. With that, I rest my case.
Thank you for the reply speech. Now let's welcome the last speaker for today's debate to give the reply speech for the government side. Wait, I will highlight you first. Okay. Ms. Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready. Oh, sorry. I think I put up the wrong one. Yes. Ms. Speaker, you may start whenever you are ready.
Okay. All right, I'll begin in three, two, one. Okay, we are going to end our debate sessions, and we believe we are not fighting for a loose battle today. But, ladies and gentlemen, before I move on to summarize and everything, let me clear the air what the opposition is trying to explain, which I believe you said we are forcing them. We clearly say that we haven't made any forcement here. We explain to how magnificent is this and try to show you the benefits and could convince them to stand by our side. We are persuading. So what is wrong with giving a proper education? And then you state that we haven't made a clear explanations to you on your leader of oppositions. Are you missing out my government of whip? I don't know. But moreover, STEM learning is the way of the future. With human beings being ever more dependent on the technology, is it necessary to undertake substantial technological developments to meet the demand? This can only be performed sustainably with the help of STEM's educations. So we are actually helping them for a better future. In this case, the STEM educations is quite different from the traditional educations. I'll explain it back because you seems to acknowledge this kind of thing. So yeah, it is quite different from the traditional educations that concentrates on math and science. Hence, the students are blended in an environment that applies the scientific method that is applicable in everyday life. So, one gets a better grip on the different sectors. For example, computational thinking lays of the primary focus on the real world applications for bringing better problem solving. For a better understanding of the SAMS programs, it is not only to help us getting a clear picture of what all it is include, but also present us with a platform to become more aware of STEM as a learning medium. Is that sound forcing to you? So, again, why can we accept that we are able to make changes? It all depends on you. So, again, for the last chance, I would like to ask everyone in this house to stand with us because we realize which one is the best decision to be choose. A better future, a brighter future. There is no wrong to educate them in a new environment. And for that, I'm proudly to propose now. Thank you.
Thank you for the reply speech. With that, the debate for this round has ended. Please be informed that this is a silent round, thus no result will be announced now. Legislators, you may move to your respective room. Participant, you may move to the main room for further instruction. Thank you to everyone for joining this session. Have a nice day. Take care.